Making your way through work Monday takes everything you got. Then Monday night rolls around and you realize there's a shot. You're only 10 points away. All those times when your team had no fight, they're just so gosh darn frail. Then your star quarterback let another deep ball sail, and your third round pick bet on his team. Then go check out our streets where everybody knows your game, and they listen to complaints. You wanna be where you can see our bodies bring you no shame. You wanna go where everybody knows your pain.
Welcome back to another episode of Dad Bod Fantasy Squad. I'm here. It's Thursday night. We are with Robbie. Bobby, what's up, dude?
It's game time, baby. The week is here. I'm ready.
The week is here. We are always usually excited, but I have to say this is probably one of the first times where I'm like, yeah, I watch football tonight.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Last week I was so excited, and that was a not great game. I don't know, man. Thursdays, I just feel like it's a tough turnaround for these teams. So it's tough to figure it out. You know, it's tough to expect something. But you want to play the matchups right
30-30 tonight then. 34-31 because this is the type of matchup that would do that.
100%.
You have a wedding coming up? It's wedding season
this week, Saturday. Yeah, I got two this month.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Late. Those are late. But nice weather in Ohio. As long as it's not raining.
It'll be an interesting couple weeks. Be busy.
So we got some news. There's typically on Thursday the news. What's up, Albert? The news is really just kind of around players that are limited, did not participate. I actually saw Javonte did get upgraded to limited on this list.
Was he limited today? Okay.
Yeah. So if you're I think I mean, we'll dive into it because I have him on this list. But if you're starting Jaleel McLaughlin, maybe a little scary this week. I think Javonte ends up playing, but I don't know what that looks like. But anyways, go ahead with the news, Robbie.
Yeah. Zay Jones, Carr, Ramondre Stevenson, Pickett, Dame Pierce, Saquon Barkley, Cooper Kupp, Jerry Jeudy, Debo, Mario said Javonte Williams, all limited today in practice. Any surprises there for you?
No surprises.
Pickett's a little bit for me.
I'm scared to start Saquon. Pickett sounds like he's scared to lose his job, so I expect to see him out there. I think Cooper Kupp's going to play. Derek Carr is going to scare me for the next few weeks. I mean, what we saw last week was rough.
Yeah, I think McVay all but said that he's playing. He said yesterday, it says limited on the sheet, but he's pretty much full go at practice. So I'm not worried about Cooper Kupp. Ramondre Stevenson's an interesting one. Did he get dinged up in that game? I don't remember.
I think this is just classic Bill
Belichick.
I don't remember anything really happening. So I'm looking now.
Freiermuth.
He has like a thigh contusion or something like that.
Okay. Freiermuth, Mostert, Amon Ra, Treylon Burks, T. Higgins, Kyron Williams, CeeDee Lamb, and CMC all did not participate today.
Okay, so here's the surprises for me. Amon sounds fine. Muth is no surprise. Mostert's probably veteran rest. Kyron surprises the shit out of me. But I don't know, again, that could be workload management, but I don't, because this is the injury that he had last week, right?
I believe so. So I'm assuming he's going to end up playing. Oh, we got.
He took part in practice.
Question for tonight, full PPR. Should I start DJ Moore at flex tonight or A-Chain on Sunday?
I'm going A-Chain.
I think I'm going Achane. I think I'm with you on that. He's just been so dynamic. His workload's increasing.
If it's only between
weekly.
those two, yeah.
Yeah. I still think DJ Moore puts up a pretty decent day today, though, against Washington. So I think both options are good. I think I'm just a little higher on Achane for that matchup. And again, Thursday nights are always a really weird football game. Like I said, it's kind of a quick turnaround. So they're not fully healed up. They're not, full go. It's just sometimes when you expect those, like we said, like 30 to, like last week, we all expected a really good high scoring game. And, Green Bay didn't really put up. And it's probably because it was a Thursday night game. So it's going to be interesting tonight, but I think I'm going Achane on that.
I'm with you. Back to Kyron. He did take part in practice today. He missed yesterday. This little note on Sleeper says even if he's unable to log a full practice by week's end, there's expectation from Sean McVay that the running back should suit up. So I don't think I'm concerned yet there. CMC is probably a veteran rest day. I think CD's
That's my guess.
Treylon is just concerning all over the place from dynasty perspective. I don't even know if you're holding him in redraft at this point. And Higgins is obviously, he might be out there, but don't get fooled by starting him, which
I'm not touching him.
Yeah.
Not touching him this week. Stafford, Jameson Williams, and JT were full participants today.
Crazy the turnaround with JT. Crazy. It's like all the running backs just decided we need to get paid some way or another. And I get it. It just stinks.
Yeah, I'm still not fully sold that he's going to be the Colts running back by the end of the season. He said,
well, yeah, that depends.
I think he's going to play. I think he'll play this week, maybe next week, and I think they're still trying to trade him. So I still think there's hope for JT to get moved, which would keep Zach Moss in the loop. So if Zach Moss gets dropped, I'd probably pick him up and stash him. That'd be my play. Like that. Like if JT comes in and he gets 70% of the snaps and Zach Moss gets dropped, I'd probably pick him up.
Colts 2-2 right now. Have some big wins against it was week 2, but they beat the Texans, they beat the Ravens, lost to the Rams.
We say it every year though. This division, like it's whoever. Like anyone can win that division.
Yeah, because stupid Tennessee is still doing well. Sorry,
they're
Tennessee
all 2-2.
fans.
Houston looks good. Like they're surprising people. It's every team in that division's 2-2, so it's like they're all going to go for the playoffs.
Yeah. Any other pieces of news you want to touch on before we move on to our must starts of the week? Must sits.
Yeah, I think that's it. We talked about this. Thursdays are just slow news days. Don't get a lot out of it, but it's good to keep an eye on the injury report and seeing what's going on. So
I agree.
That's all we got for today.
I'm seeing if there was any last minute ones there.
You want to do a square or no?
Let's do a square, dude. That will kind of that's what I need right now.
Jumpstart you?
Yeah. I can't Dynasty Daddy, is that what it's called?
I think so.
All right, let's do it. Let me share my screen. We know how to play. Oh yeah, baby.
Hopefully it's not too hard today. They need to do settings like easy, medium, hard.
Okay. So, Jacksonville and Kansas City. There's an easy player that I can't think of right now. There's a player that I'm not thinking of right now. I'm really bad. Chris Conley.
Ooh. Wow, that's a
boom,
good one.
baby. Kansas City and the Colts. Kansas City and the Colts.
It's a defensive player.
San Fran and Jacksonville.
Man, I'm not good with Jacksonville, dude. I am not good with Jacksonville.
There was a running back. Ooh,
Dude.
we're gonna need some help.
Yeah. They've been 5+ passages in 1 game. Try
Is that David Gerard? Didn't he go off one game? Do you think that will be it or no?
Carlos Hyde. Yeah. Did he play for?
What?
Yeah, Hyde played for the Jags.
Hyde played for both of them. Nice.
Yeah.
There it is. That's the back I was looking for. And then David Gerard. Is it David Gerard? I think we're gonna miss on this.
Did
Robbie.
Bortles
Wait, it's not David
throw
Gerard.
for 5?
You think Bortles did?
I think he did.
Do you think Bortles did?
I do.
Hey! Okay, Kansas City, San Francisco, and the Colts. This guy, we gotta go Andrew Luck here, right? Or Peyton? Which one? Andrew Luck or Peyton?
San Francisco.
Oh, Albert guessed Carlos Hyde. Did he? Was that where you got it?
Yep.
Good help, Albert. It's got Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning. 5 TDs.
Probably both of them.
Should be either or. Okay. All right, cool. And this could be 5 in a game, and 30. That's Tom Brady. That's Peyton Manning. Hey, little gold skis there. 30+ passing TDs in a season. Did Jimmy G ever hit this?
No.
Okay, since 1999. So
Patty
other
Mahomes.
good quarterbacks. Oh yeah,
Kansas City, Patty Mahomes.
Patty's an easy one. Oh, it's gonna be Patrick. Patrick Mahomes. We're running. We're running right now.
99.
San Francisco. So it's Jimmy G. Who else have we had back there?
Jeff
Trent
Garcia.
Dilfer's been back to Jeff Garcia. They haven't had a quarterback in a while.
Do you think Jimmy G hit 30?
I think there's a season where he hit it, but it was like either 26 or 27, though. I think it's 27, but there might have been a season where he had 33. Who was the quarterback before Jimmy G?
Trey Lance. Oh, Colin Kaepernick.
You think I think Kaepernick might have hit 30. Better shot with Kaepernick?
I think so.
Just put on the unlimited just to see if we could get close to this. Am I spelling Garoppolo like an idiot? Is it G? There you go.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Try Jeff Garcia.
That would be so long ago, though. 100%. He was the only answer, I think. He's probably the only answer. Yeah. So then we need to figure out a Colts and a San Fran player.
Looks like we're not good with Colts, huh?
And a Colts and a Chiefs player.
This is tough. I know we're just not thinking of people. A lot of the time it's defensive players that we just can't think of because we're so offensive minded.
I feel like there's a tight end that was on the Colts in San Fran.
I'm blanking Mario. Frank Gore.
Oh, what a
clutch!
What good work, Albert. What a call.
Coming in clutch. Try Houston.
James Houston? Is it James Houston?
The defensive lineman? No, not James. Just type in Houston. He's a D lineman.
I don't know, buddy.
Maybe is it James? But he's not 22 to 23.
It was unlimited guess. Figured I would do it. I feel like there's another running back here. I keep thinking like Larry Johnson, Priest Holmes, Jamal Charles. Charles went somewhere at the end of his career, didn't he?
No.
Or did he finished in KC?
I want to say so.
Jamal Charles. He went somewhere. Jacksonville and Denver.
Try oh man, what's that dude's name?
We could call it, Rob. We can end it here.
Let's try this one guess. The joystick, the punt returner.
Tester?
No.
D'Angelo Hall. Is this like one of your favorite, right? Is that who you're talking about?
Go ahead.
Is that who you're talking about?
I think so. Oh, I thought I was lighting up. All right. Let's skip. Let's move on.
All right.
I'm going to Google it, though. Get us started with...
It's going to be pain when you do it.
Get us started here.
Yeah, so I want to do some start sits. We're going to start off with QB. And some of the guys that I am excited for this week that aren't, your natural plugins.
Justin Houston.
Why wouldn't it come up why wouldn't it come up there?
I don't know.
That's spell Houston
Justin
wrong?
Houston. Nick Foles, huh?
Oh, duh. Wait, when was he on Kansas City?
I don't know. But Justin Houston was the guess I was going for.
So I want to talk some QBs that aren't really on your radar, but maybe they're on your bench, maybe they're out in the waivers, and you may have a tougher matchup somewhere else. Although a lot of these QBs, maybe you have a bye. Maybe Justin Herbert's on bye. A lot of these QB matchups aren't bad, though, for almost all around. It was really hard to find a QB sit. But my first start is Matthew Stafford versus Philly. He's starting to get more weapons back. We talked about Kupp probably being in this lineup. Kyron looks good. Stafford himself is looking rejuvenated. I wouldn't be shocked if this game is actually one of the higher scoring ones, even though both these defenses are pretty solid. Although Philly has allowed some points, and so has the Rams. So wouldn't be shocked if this is a big game in general. Maybe creating a DFS lineup around this game is a smart move. But I haven't seen it because are they 4:00? I bet you.
Oh, they're there.
They're
there.
They're 4:00.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe this is the lineup then. They're
on the main slate. Yeah, they went from, funny enough, you're bringing this up because this was a game that I pegged for my DFS. I'm going to make a lineup based off of this, but it went from 46.5 to, I think they're at 50.
Wow, that's
total
a huge
points.
Jump.
Massive
that is a huge jump. So yeah, I mean, I'm in on Stafford this week. I think there's worse options out there. And, I could see him potentially finishing top 13, top 14. I know that's not exactly top 12, but maybe not all those guys are out there. Any thoughts on that before I move to?
I think he gets top 12. He was in my start, and I took him off last second. So I'm with you.
There's a lot of people out there that are really scared to plug J Love back in there, and I'm here to say, don't panic yet. Now his completion percentage has looked like kind of crap, but it is his first year starting.
Go ahead.
Did you want to say?
I'll tap in at the end.
He has a pretty cake matchup with LV at Las Vegas. Jeez. I wouldn't say it's the best matchup because that defensive line puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback. But if they game plan around that, he's getting Christian Watson back. He's getting Aaron Jones back. And yeah, he had those last week, but they were on such a snap count. This is a guy that's just been doing it in fantasy. Whether he looked not great last week, he still got you 20 plus points. I think he's QB5 on the year. Again, 4. Wow. If you have concerns with Burrow, if you have Herbert, if you have Deshaun Watson, he's somebody I'm plugging in there. There's a lot more people than I just named that I'm probably plugging J Love in this week.
Lawrence
has been rough.
Yeah.
A little rough. That team's a little weird right now.
Very. I'm 1,000% with you. The panic revolving around Love for fantasy football blows my mind. I understand he didn't look good last week, but dude still came away with 18 points. So
he's got to be one of the most hated players right now.
If that's a bad game for Love, still gets 18 points. And
again, it was 6. He had the 6 extra rushing, but that's going to happen.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. That counts. That's points. And I get it. Like, he didn't look good, but the offense as a whole looked terrible. But there was one thing I noticed when I was rewatching this game. The offense was clicking when Aaron Jones was on the field. It was a massive difference. Every time they scored was when Aaron Jones was in for the full drive. When A.J. Dillon was on the field, they did not score. So
that's interesting.
Dude, rewatch a game and take a look at that. Whenever Aaron Jones was on the field, they were moving the ball downfield. They looked good. Love looked comfortable. He was throwing the ball better. It was weird. It was very weird to watch and see how it was going. And Aaron Jones is going to be full go, I think, this week. So if this offense clicks how they did when he was on the field, I think it's going to be lights up. They're gonna do some damage with Watson coming back fully, with Aaron Jones coming back fully. Jordan Love, yeah, yes, I'm with you.
It's weird because there was last year. Look, these are two very separate players and very separate player style. But Jay Love receives the same sort of hate that Jalen Hurts entered the year from last year. But even more, Jalen Hurts had some people on Twitter and fantasy people that were like, I'm in on Hurts because he's going to be rushing a ton. Again, they're two very separate. I'm trying to compare the hate that I'm like, this is so misplaced. He is 4 games into his starting career, not as a rookie, but his starting career. I mean, one other game, I think he came in, but he wasn't even a starter. So, like, I just don't get it. He's looked fine. He's played well. Again, I guess you could say the accuracy issues, but he's been playing with Romeo Doubs and no Aaron Jones for the majority of the season. He hasn't had Watson really at all, and Aaron Jones was out after the first week.
Musgrave went out early last week.
Yeah, that sucked.
It's yes, I'm with you. There's enough weapons there. Against Las Vegas, I think they're going to put a beating on them.
The QB sit I have, and this is tough, but this is sitting Old Faithful, right? Jared Goff versus Carolina. Here's why. I think this is an easy game for them. So they're not going to ask Goff to do too much. Hard pressed to see him needing to throw 30 times in this game, 30 plus times in this game. If Carolina keeps it close, this whole evaluation is out the door. But I just don't think or foresee Goff needing to be a huge part of this game. And I'm not saying Carolina is straight boo-boo, but what this Detroit team will do on the defensive side of the ball, Carolina ain't going to be able to do much offensively.
Yeah. It's a tough week to find sits for QBs, like you said.
I agree. Yeah.
So I'm with you, but
if you're desperate, you have to play him.
Jared Goff at home is a tough person to sit. He's a tough person to sit at home.
It's a good point. I didn't even take into consideration that's like this was 4 years ago where you used to talk about Mahomes Dome.
Mm-hmm.
Or Mahomes in a dome.
It's Goff Dome. It is, yes. Whenever he's home, he just lights it up. And
like
Jameson Williams.
Like Kingdom? So, like, they should just change Detroit Lions Stadium to Golfdom?
Sure.
Like
why
Kingdom.
not? You might as well. Jameson Williams being back, I'm interested to see how they incorporate him. I don't know if they're going to try to get him going, get him some easy touches, and try to get him going and maybe throw a little bit more than they would just to get him acclimated. But I'm with you. I get where you're coming from with that, because they could go up early. They could go up big early for sure.
Yeah, Bryce hasn't looked great. No. It's all my QBs.
Okay, let's get to mine then. QB start for me. I'm going Justin Fields. This week, I think it's a weak secondary for the Washington Commanders. And again, it's tonight, so I'm a little nervous about Thursday night games. But I think we're going to see them continue what they did last week. It was kind of a get-right game for Justin Fields, especially in the passing. He went off last week. He looked great. The offense they looked different. I think we're going to see a start for this offense to kind of get going. Like, that's what it was last week. I think it was kind of a get-right game, and they're going to move forward and kind of be better the rest of the season. I think Fields will be back to I don't want to say easy start weekly, but more of a comfortable start than what we've seen. Kind of a less obvious one for me is I'm going with Dobbs against Cincinnati this week.
I wanted to mention about Fields real quick because because we've talked about this in the chat a little bit, and I'm not like saying he's not startable. I'm not fully convinced that he's right yet.
I get it.
It also depends on like what you're expecting too. He's averaging only 7 carries a game, which he could do damage with that, but not what you would probably anticipate drafting him at QB 5, 6, wherever he went. And then he went against the worst defense in the league and a historically bad defense and sliced him up. And it was fun to watch. Just don't think he's going to have that wiggle room with Washington. I'm not saying Washington's that great of a defense either, though. They give up a lot of points all the time.
Yeah, I think it was more of a confidence thing for me. Like, his confidence was shattered the first couple of weeks. You could see him on the sideline. He was demoralized. Last week they got back. He went off passing, which was great. Like, I think it boosted him mentally, let him get more comfortable, let him pull the trigger a little bit quicker than he has been.
There's reports that everything changes if they lose tonight. Everything. I don't know how true those reports are.
Possible.
Like Eberflus is on the hot seat. They're saying Fields might get shut down. Like, these are Twitter reports, so I don't know how true they are, but it's interesting.
If we're going down swinging, and Fields is a swing tonight for sure. And like I said, kind of a less obvious one. I think Dobbs is a pretty decent start against Cincinnati.
That's scary.
Dude, he's put up 20 points in 3 games straight. He's rushing the ball. He's had over 40 yards rushing in 3 games straight. He's doing it with his legs and his arm. He looks good. The offense is clicking. It's weird. I'm sitting here just saying it's weird, but I think it's something we need to take notice of.
I think what is concerning for me is Cincinnati has been so incredibly inconsistent, and that's on both sides of the ball. I mean, who'd they play before Tennessee last week? Do you remember? I could also pull it up because defensively they looked like they didn't beat Baltimore. No, they won this game. Whoever they played 2 weeks ago. The Rams. They beat the Rams. And defensively, they looked great. They didn't give Matthew Stafford any time to throw. The cornerbacks looked good. Like, the line, though, the defensive line looked great. And, yeah, they didn't show up against Tennessee. So, I mean, you could absolutely nail this. I don't know what to do with Cincinnati this year in general. So inconsistent.
I get it. I'm definitely starting to warm up on Dobbs for fantasy. It's been a fun ride these the last 3 weeks. Week 1, he put up, I think, 2 points. I don't think you can get it in the team shop, but
they did. They added it.
They put it in there.
Yeah.
So I think he put up 2 points week 1, and then since then he's been on a tear. He's had 20 points in 3 in a row. He's QB 14 overall. And again, it's just his rushing. It's ticking up every single week. I like it. I like what I'm seeing.
And he sits for you? You just plug it in all quarterbacks?
Nah, I'm gonna sit Dak Prescott this week as much as it pains me to say against San Francisco. Going against San Francisco, this defense is no joke. The only thing that might save him is if San Francisco gets up so much early
garbage time
that they're just going to end up throwing the ball a ton, which is possible.
Their secondary
that can happen.
Is not great.
I know, but it's good enough. And they've been struggling way too much offensively, especially Dak's been struggling. I think he's QB 21 right now. It's just not a great sign. So if I can avoid it, I would start Dobbs over him this week.
Yeah, I think and Dax had a very mediocre, not needing to throw that much. It's not really on him that he's had this.
The defense has been so good. Yeah.
The defense has been good. And when they were bad, which was Arizona, and it was
trending up. Well, I sent you a trade offer, Willie, and you just haven't said anything back. So
you selling, huh? I know that. I know what trade offer you're talking. You're selling. Yeah, so I would be scared of the San Fran D as well. RBs that we are starting and sitting. I got some deep plays here because I couldn't really pick out an RB that I was going to say this is an RB that I would start that people don't already have in their lineup, right? Like
Willie, steal.
Let me take a gander. It's not the dad bod league. It is definitely Steel City. Yeah, that's why. Yep. So I went real deep with my RB plays. This is the desperate if you really need to kind of dig at the bottom of the barrel here.
Okay. I like that approach. Let's hear him.
Tyler Algier. So
interesting.
I have a good reason behind why he could be a dart throw great play this week. His snap count is going down. Not good. But it's Houston. Houston's rush defense, pretty poor. You know, when Arthur Smith sees a hot team like Houston, what he is going to game plan is we need to make sure that we keep the ball out of their hands. It's going to be a ton of rushes. I am pretty convinced of it. Now, I think I would be hard pressed to say Tyler Algier gets more than 10 touches, and that's if we're lucky. I mean, you can 10 to 12, but I think there's some big playability here. If you're desperate, I think he could be a very sneaky play. And this is again desperate dart throw, maybe a DFS play, maybe just if you're really low on RBs.
I don't hate it. What you're saying makes a ton of sense, right? Like the rush defense for Houston's terrible. And it makes a lot of Arthur Smith game plans against those teams very, very well. And we might see a little bit more Algier than we have the past couple of weeks. Obviously, they looked really good when Algier was in week 1. Not so much the last 2 weeks. So there might be a little bit of a reevaluation on how they're using these backs. But I'm with you. I think it's
load them up.
Not saying Bijan's gonna get taken off the field by any means, but maybe they go back to such a way more run heavy than the past 2 weeks.
Right. And Desmond Ridder has been kind of struggling.
Kind of.
Other deep start, because I think this is actually a pretty common one. I think he is currently in my DFS. I don't know if he's going to stay. The reason I'm calling it a deep start is if Javonte still plays. But again, I talked about it at the top. I think Jaleel McLaughlin is a good start here. Obviously, even better if Javonte is out, which it doesn't seem like he will be. But if he is, I think Jaleel has a chance to carve out a role in this offense. As much as it pains me, because I'm a huge Javonte believer, it's been a slow start, as expected, coming off an ACL. What wasn't expected was somebody to look much more explosive and much more quick and able to hit holes differently. So like this changes things. I don't think I had that same concern with Samaji, but with Jaleel, it changes things. He's a rookie. He dominated in college. And me and Alex talked about him a little bit on Tuesday. He played for Youngstown State. Very small. I think that's D2 or D1 AA or whatever it is. So just something to keep an eye on. And again, it's a deep, I'm desperate play.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't hate it. Even if Javonte plays, I still think he's not going to be full go. So,
right.
And we might see like a 50-50 snap. And what we saw last week from this kid, like he's a big play. He's a big play waiting to happen. So I don't hate it at all.
I have 2 RB sits on the week. Najee versus Baltimore. Baltimore has looked all around amazing on defense.
He's just sit every week.
Probably. I don't have much more to say there. I think he is. If you have other options, explore them. Here's one that's kind of a surprise because he has looked really good. Pacheco versus Minnesota. Minnesota's defense is horrendous. I think we're going to see a lot of McKinnon this week. I think this is the game that I targeted for a high scoring one. Now, can Pacheco get 40 yards and a TD and be fine? Sure. So this is, if you have options, a plentiful, Pacheco is a guy that I'm kind of lower on this week.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I've been saying I think that it is what we've seen from Pacheco is not what we're going to see moving forward. Like, I'm just not.
That's funny because that's both our starts. I think I go Fields though.
I'm starting Fields tonight, so
but
we can be in this together too.
I'm not super high on Fields, but I think I would go Fields. The upside's higher than Stafford, I'm pretty sure.
We're gonna white knuckle this one tonight. It's gonna be an interesting game. I'm a little nervous, but I'm still going with it. Did you give your sits?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we were talking Pacheco. So I said this yesterday with Norton. I think it's kind of a fake couple weeks that we've seen from Pacheco. I don't think this is what we're going to see moving forward. We know how Kansas City likes to interchange their backs throughout the season. And I think this is going to be a very pass heavy game for Kansas City. I think they'll get up early. I don't know if Minnesota's offense can keep up with them. And if they get up early enough, I think we'll see enough of CEH to make a dent there.
Yeah, that's the other. I mean, see, I hope that if Kansas City takes a big lead, I think Pacheco ends up playing fine. But I think it's actually going to be closer than it's going to be within throwing. It's going to be within.
I still think even if they get up a lot, I think we'll see more CEH and Pacheco trying to get him going.
Maybe. I don't know. We haven't seen much of CEH yet.
Yeah. Let's get over to my RBs. RB starts for this week. I'm going with kind of an obvious one here to start, but if you're questioning it, Monty going against Carolina, he's a must start moving forward. What we saw last week and what we've seen from him this season, he is the perfect system back for what Detroit loves to do. And I think he instantly takes that Jamal role. He'll definitely get double-digit touchdowns with what he put up last week, but I think he'll get into that maybe 15, 16 touchdowns.
The more pressing question then, are you starting Gibbs?
I'm not starting Gibbs until I see something. I need to see the snap count come up. I need to see the touches for him come up.
It's got to be games that we expect him to be down on too.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. When this Detroit offense is clicking and they're winning, we see a lot of Monty. It's just not a good situation for how they want to utilize Gibbs. And maybe it's going to take the first half of the season, and in the back half we'll see a lot more Gibbs. Maybe that's what's going on. But until I see some sort of flip to where it's closer to a 50-50 split, I'm really trying to stay away from Gibbs. I think obviously you need to roster him, but it's just somebody I'm not willing to play right now. Maybe at a flex, like if you need to flex him for a week, if you have a bye or something like that. I think he's consistently going to get you 9 to 12 points.
But he hasn't. Has he?
Yeah, he has.
Really?
Mm-hmm. PPR formats, he's getting you right around 9 points a week.
8, 12, 9, 9. Sure.
So it's not like a terrible play, but it's not helping your cause if you drafted him in the 4th round, right? 4th, 5th round where you took him, he's really hurting you. But obviously he's playable if you need to. And then another start for me this week. I think it's time, Mario. I think we're going to see the beast unleashed, Breece Hall.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in it. It is time to let the man do his thing.
This is about Gibbs, and he does need to score outside of the red zone. That's what we need to see happen. He
Some
needs to
big
take
plays.
over
We
that
need
swift roll.
massive plays.
We need the swift roll.
Yes, and we haven't seen it yet. So until we start seeing some more consistency out of that, like it's time. I'm just kind of holding back on him. But Brees Hall, it's time. Going against Denver, we know how bad this defense is. Does
it feel like a trap?
No.
This doesn't feel like a trap?
Not happening, dude. They already said that they're taking the training wheels off. He's going to get a full workload.
Not a Salah trap, just a trap.
Nope.
This is just in general trap, not the game.
Nope.
Just a Brees. Everyone is in on Brees Hall this week. It feels like
Big
a trap.
Time. Nope. Top 12 back coming in.
All right.
I am all in on Brees this week. I think he's going to go off, and
so if he
I'm
goes
wrong,
like 12,
it wouldn't be the first time.
12 for 50 or something, and
I'd be so upset.
We'll come back to this.
I'd be so upset.
It seems almost every time that everyone is in on somebody, it's just such a letdown. Like last week was Musgrave. Everybody was in on it. His over line. It was all about like where his lines were. So I don't want to say they're expecting 20 points from him, but they were all like, he looks great. He should easily get 40 yards receiving.
Again, I'm just saying, I agree with you. And if we want to talk about, there's multiple times that this has happened throughout the season where everyone's in on a player and he doesn't perform to what we expect. But if you want to talk about specifically that Musgrave last week, I'm saying it, dude. Like Thursday games scare the hell out of me. They do.
Yeah.
They scare the hell out of me. I try to stay away
from them. This is a recent example, but yes.
Yes, it's just I know. I'm just saying. I think in a normal situation, if that was a Sunday game, I think Green Bay's offense looks a lot better than what they did.
Brees will help take the load off of Wilson, and Wilson looked really freaking good against Kansas City. It was weird.
And again, if Wilson plays, he doesn't even need to play like that. If he can play good enough to keep the defense honest against the run game, like Brees is going to destroy this team. And then some RB sits for me. Ramondre Stevenson this week against New Orleans. I'm not touching him.
Banged up.
He doesn't look good. I think he's averaging maybe 7 points in the last 2 weeks. It's getting weird in that backfield. That's the whole reason me and you both, I think, Mario, we're saying stay away from Ramondre this season coming into it.
Not crazy low.
It wasn't. That backfield's always a mess. It's never what we expect. And we're starting to see that come to fruition a little bit here this season. And then again, another person I'm in love with that I'm going to say sit, Miles Sanders against Detroit. He's still dinged up. Yeah, he's still dinged up a little bit. Detroit's defense has been actually pretty decent.
Their defensive line has been insane. Yeah.
Like it's not what it was last season. So the defense as a whole has been better, especially against the run. They were like dead last season. This year, they're actually pretty good. So,
which it did turn around at the end of the year last year too.
Yes,
that fun DFS, like I could start any RB against Detroit. It ended.
You're right.
And I remember we said, I think it was on one of these episodes, we said, I guess this is done now, moving forward.
Yeah. So also, we both kind of anticipate the Lions getting ahead in this game, which is going to take the ball out of Miles Sanders' hands. And especially if he's hurt, they're just...
And put it right into Chuba's.
Yeah, especially if he's hurt, they're just probably going to sit him more in the second half.
I assume this is about Miles, which is pretty scary.
I don't think we're going to see him practice until he's fully healthy. I think he'll play. It's just going to be one of those things where he's not practicing until he's healthy.
Yeah.
But I think he'll suit up. And then, that's it. I got Miles Sanders and Ramondre as my sits this week.
Wide receiver. We're going to move to wide receivers. You want me to kick off or you want to kick off?
Go ahead.
So wide receiver starts. I think we have a familiar face here. I haven't even scrolled down to your notes. I like to kind of be surprised and talk about it. But Michael Pittman versus Tennessee. It's our favorite. It's one of our favorite things to do.
We are double tap.
Double? No. Michael Pittman versus Tennessee. Obviously, the secondary is rough. I think the one concern I have here is JT being back. Are they going to try to make a statement here? Are they going to try to get JT involved early, or is this still? I don't know. I feel like this game has an unexpected twist that I'm not ready for. But I mean, you got to start Michael Pittman if you have him. He's looked great on the year. He's, I think, to some degree, DFS / super deep leagues. Josh Downs is worth a start because I'm assuming if you have Michael Pittman, you weren't benching him anyways. So if you want to talk him a little bit more deep, Josh Downs is somebody that I think could be a sneaky DFS player, a sneaky deep league play.
I think anyone against the secondary, man.
Yeah. That's always going to be the question with Indy. Will AR make the throws?
Hey,
Second start, which is I guess double tap in here. Garrett Wilson versus Denver, and I think this is the combination of things. Obviously, we talked about how horrendous.
But this isn't in my notes.
Okay. Not in your notes. Okay. No. Denver's defense horrendous, and I think Garrett Wilson is a perfect person in this start. You might be like, "Well, I drafted him wide receiver 10." Of course, no. I told you guys to sit him last week. Did all right. I think he had 14 fantasy points. Yeah, 9 for 60 though. It was kind of crazy. Which points. Anyways, Denver's defense horrendous. Zach Wilson playing well. Maybe one game. Can we stack games? Can we stack 2 in a row? Can Zach Wilson turn it around? I hope. I'm starting. I think watching him play and watching how sad he was, I'm starting to root for him. And I think I've been kind of a hater of him, and I think I've been kind of because I thought he was overdrafted. Yeah, I kind of want to see it happen. Obviously, I have a lot of Garrett Wilson shares, so I think he's a great start this week. Some sits. T. Higgins. For obvious reasons, he's hurt. But if he is a go, please put him on your bench. I got burned, I think, 3 different times last year of, T. Higgins is going to play. He's going to play. And then he does absolutely nothing, or he plays 1 snap. It is the worst feeling. And then Courtland Sutton goes against the Jets. Probably going to see a lot of Sauce. Sauce has been above average, but not the Sauce of last year yet. Courtland Sutton isn't shifty enough to shake Sauce Gardner, and he's Cortland's been pretty solid this year, so I'm sure there's a lot of considerations to play him. I think I would let him stay on your bench this week.
Yeah, I like both those. Let's go with my wide receiver starts. Obviously, we said Pittman. I'm with you on that. I think he's a great play this week against Tennessee. And then I'm gonna go with someone that I've been saying sit almost every single week. Someone that I have been actively saying, go out and trade him away if you can. And I think this might be a week that can boost him enough where you can go trade him next week. No, not Puka. No, I like Puka. DeAndre Hopkins. I'm saying
I have DeAndre.
Play DeAndre Hopkins this week. I think he's going to put up a very good week. His style of play matches how the Colts play defense perfectly. They play a soft zone coverage. DeAndre Hopkins is going to find the weak spots in the zone. Ryan Tannehill will find him. He gets the targets. We know he demands the share in that offense. As much as I hate Ryan Tannehill and as much as I'm off of DeAndre Hopkins for the season, I think he's a good play this week.
So there's 3 games that I was eyeing up for DFS, and I thought this one would be the least chalky. So if you want to sneak a great lineup and hope that this game goes 27-30, 33-27, there's some plays in this lineup that aren't going to look great on paper, though. Really is. I mean, like when you go AR, you go Downs, maybe Pittman, you go DeAndre Hopkins on the flip back, maybe double that up with Derrick Henry. I don't know. Like there's some plays in this game that you could probably, I think it would be out of the 3 games that we talked about, Minnesota, Kansas City, Philly, Rams, potentially. And then this one, out of the 3, I would think this one's the least chalky of the 3, but maybe that's everybody's thought, which would make it more chalky than it needs to be.
I'm telling you, I'm starting to warm up a little bit on the Jets. Maybe we'll do a Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, the Wilson team.
Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, and Russell Wilson. Just do a super flex one?
Sure, with a little Brees.
Wilson.
Sounds good.
Wilson. Okay.
And then the wide receiver sit for me this week. I only got one for you guys. I'm going to go with Calvin Ridley going against Buffalo, even though the secondary is banged up and they haven't been as great against the pass. Calvin Ridley only saw 2 targets last week. Zay Jones looks like he's going to play. Christian Kirk is emerging as maybe the top target in this offense.
This is the always has been meme, right?
Well,
the
after
astronaut
week 1,
always have. Yeah. You know what?
We all were like, nope, it's Calvin Ridley. He's back to being a top 5 wide receiver. Not
Jacksonville,
so
after week 1, fooled everyone. I was you were victory lapping Travis Etienne, which I'm not saying I'm victory lapping yet. We got to see. There's a whole. Oh, no. There's still a whole what NFL players call 3 quarters left of the season.
Yeah.
So I'm not victory lapping, but definitely haven't seen much. Calvin Ridley, I got called the morning after because there's this one of my buddies, Willie, if you're watching, this is Mink, called me the morning after going, "Oh, I told you Calvin Ridley, top 12 wide receiver." And we haven't seen Calvin Ridley since.
It's been
has dropped passes, gotten a little banged up. Yeah.
Bad couple weeks for him. Again, 2 targets last week, which was wild to me to see how that played itself out. And again, Zay's coming back. Travis Etienne, I'm very comfortable with him moving forward throughout the season. He's getting the work. He's still on the field 75 to 80% of the snaps. He's getting targets. Like, he's going to be fine. Once the offense
the only
starts
concern
clicking,
I have is his target share. It's still not amazing like you would want.
He's getting 4 to 5 targets a week. Like, that's enough. That's enough. But regardless of our Travis Etienne talk, sure.
11 over 3 games.
Yeah, 4.
3.
4, 4, 3.
Sure, but is 4 targets enough?
If he's getting 15 to 20 rushes with what I think, how good he is, I think it's enough. Yeah, I think it's enough. And I think that'll come up when the offense needs to get going. That's the issue. The offense hasn't been good. So they're not on the field enough for him to get that the targets up to 6, 7, which is once they start moving the ball, start scoring the ball, I think he's going to be awesome. But yeah, Calvin Ridley, not this week.
All right. Well, we already discussed it, so I was just kind of transitioning. It was a poor transition. Tight ends.
Terrible transition.
Thank you.
Had me thrown off.
I want to say
got me playing with my fidget spinner over here because I'm so anxious.
This is more of a gut feeling and poor against the tight end. Dallas Goedert. The time is now, right? Law of averages. Dallas Goedert goes out, has 80 yards, maybe a tutty if we're lucky. What?
This is my start.
Goddard's
my start. Yeah. You just looked at my notes and copied and pasted, didn't you?
I thought for a second though, because it was as I was going, I thought you also had the 80 yards, maybe a tutty. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those, like, this is the Rams aren't great against the tight end, but also kind of like one of those gut feelings. You know, a guy is, I don't want to say he's in the elite category, but the next tier down, the tier behind the second tier of, because obviously Kelsey has his tier of his own, and then there's the elites, and then there's Dallas Goedert tier. And I think we're due for a game from him. The Rams are pretty good against wide receivers, so they're going to need to move the ball somehow.
Yeah. Tight
end sit, and I'll let you add on to that once we go over to you for tight ends. And Cole Kmet versus Washington tonight. Look, nothing about Washington's defense says they could stop Cole Kmet. Yeah, and we've seen Cole Kmet have 5 touchdowns in 3 games last year. So he could absolutely do it right back again. I just need to see it first, man. I know tight ends are a lot of it thin. So I understand if you need to play Cole Kmet. I'm just going to wait a week to see it again and then get burned next week when I put him in my lineup.
Yeah, I get it. The tight end position's a mess again every single year. You know, you get burned by all these players except except Kelsey.
Etienne's changing to tight end?
Yeah, he should. That'd be nice.
He should.
except Kelsey, Andrews, Hawkinson. Like unless you got those guys, again, it's a coin flip. But I don't hate that call. I think it's going to be more of a DJ Moore kind of night. So we'll see how this. I'm excited to watch this game, which is crazy because the Bears have been so bad. But back to Goddard, I'm 100% with you. He was my start this week as well. They have publicly came out and said we need to get him involved more. The offense is not moving. The offense has not been as good as it was last season. We need to get it to our three playmakers, Goddard, Smith, and AJ Brown. AJ Brown and Smith are doing well. They need to get Goddard involved to kind of take the burden off those two guys a little bit. So I'm with you. I think this is going to be the game it happens. Like you said, the Rams defense against tight ends is not great. So I think we'll see a nice little game from him this week. And then my sit this week, if you're looking for, if you're in a mix and you've been playing Hunter Henry, I think he is a sit against the Saints this week. Saints defense is always good against the tight end position. If you have other options, I would use the other options if you have been starting Hunter Henry.
Yeah, because Hunter's been pretty good. He's probably like tight end 5 on the year.
He's been very good.
You want to get into some DFS so we can get ready for this game?
Yeah, let's run through these suckers because it's almost time.
PPR 6, half PPR 5.
Yeah, he's been playing like you've been playing him. I think this week against the Saints, it's a sit for me. Let's go through my DFS lineup a little bit. I went heavy Miami. I think they're gonna beat the brakes off of the Giants, and I typically don't like to go running back receiver with a QB, but I just think it's too good, and this offense is something that it's an offense you can do it with. I'm going Tua as my QB. Devon Achane is coming in for my running back, and then I'm going Jalen Waddle. I think this is the game we're going to see him kind of take that leap into what we saw last season. I think this is going to be a good game for him. Then we talked about DeAndre Hopkins earlier against Indy. I did put Pittman in. Then we have I'm flexing Pittman, so that was kind of my comeback. I think both secondaries are suspect, so I think both these guys are going to have good days. Both number one on their team, they should get enough targets. I'm going TJ Hawkinson this week. I think he's going to put up a really nice day. Kansas City's defense has been very good, but they are susceptible to the tight end position. They haven't been that great against the tight end, so I think this is where Kirk Cousins is going to kind of attack the defenses at TJ Hawkinson. And then I'm going to go with Joe Mixon against Arizona. They have one of the worst rush defenses in the league so far. Burrow's still banged up. No T. Higgins. I think we're going to see a lot of Joe Mixon this week on the ground and in the air. So I think he's going to be a pretty good start. And then I'm going to go, as much as I don't like going against New England, typically Christian Gonzalez is out for the rest of the season. That's the guy that's been locking down these wide receiver ones. Chris Olave for my third wide receiver. I think he's going to put up a nice day. I'm kind of hoping Derek Carr doesn't play. I'm hoping it's going to be a Jameis game.
You would want that. Yeah.
That's what I want.
This is a bit scary with Derek Carr. This is my only concern about your lineup right now.
It might change. I'll say that Chris Olave might change to somebody else. I'd have to.
Weather's not great. Predicted weather is not great either.
Yeah, there's going to be some tinkering, obviously, around on Sunday, depending on weather situations and injuries and stuff like that. But Chris Olave, I think, is a good play if Derek Carr misses, and I'm hoping he misses. And then I'm going to go with the Saints defense against New England. I've been talking about it all night. I just think they're going to shut this offense down. That's my lineup. What do you think?
Yeah, Olave is the one that scares me. I don't like doing the running back wide receiver. I stay away if I can.
Me too, but I just think this offense is different.
They're very efficient, all of those players. So it just depends on what happens with the Giants.
And again, it's something to monitor with Mostert. Obviously, it could just be I didn't look into it. I saw he missed practice, but if it's a rest day, even if he's out there, I'm still very comfortable playing A-Chain. Like I just think he's taking that backfield away from Mostert. They're going to run with him. He's upticking in snaps every single week. The Giants defense is just bad all around. So again, I think they're going to beat the brakes off the Giants this week.
I expect a big day from Mixon too, and it's not necessarily only on the ground, but no
in the
TV.
air.
I was surprised to see Joe not kind of lean on him all last week, but we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully he does. I think he will more this week.
I think he will. Yeah, I think he will more. And again, Chris Olave might be that guy I switch out, which if you're looking for another play, I'm really in on Marquise Brown this week against Cincinnati. I already kind of talked about it. I think he is the main focal point in that offense, and he's getting very, very comfortable.
Who, Michael Wilson?
Marquise Brown. even though Wilson had a really nice day, so did Brown. Brown was wide receiver 14 on the week. I think he's 6,200, so I'd get an extra $900 that I'd be able to kind of figure out what I want to do with, whether that's moving DeAndre Hopkins up to somebody else that I'm more comfortable with, because even though I think Hopkins is going to have a nice week, he's still risky. Like, there's still risk with him, what we've seen so far throughout the season with that team, where I might bump him up to somebody else, take Marquise Brown, and go that way.
Like it. Go ahead over to mine if you don't mind. Pull these. So I think mine's still kind of a work in progress, right? We're doing this on Thursday, so it's a little bit tough to say this is my final lineup. I also am starting to think I might dabble in that Indy game. I haven't decided yet. But the game that I'm currently focusing on is Kansas City and Minnesota. So obviously, for cost reasons and for being down reasons, I went Kirk Cousins because I think he's going to be trailing the entire game. And we stack him up with TJ Hawkinson, also going obviously against Kansas City. Bring it back with two guys, which is a little bit scary. Travis Kelce in my flex, doubling the tight end, which is not only is bringing it back with two scary, but doubling the tight end position is also like I've tried to stay away from that. I hate having two tight ends in my lineup. I do think, like you said, Hawkinson is going to have a big day. I think Kelsey's going to have a big day. Yeah. And then a sneaky play.
Kelsey's a glorified wide receiver. So
yeah, and Minnesota's defense is so bad. Mm-hmm. And I wanted some Rashi. He's looked really good. His snaps are coming up.
His target share is amazing. It's like 36% of his routes.
He honestly, you watch him and he looks the best wide receiver. So I think this is very much an only time sort of play in general. But for this week, I'm maybe shooting the shot too soon, but I try to get it on the cheap skis for 3,600. Mm-hmm. Other wide receivers, we got Zay Flowers against Pitt's horrendous defense. Now, here's the scary part. Do we see Joey Porter Jr. more this week after Pitt just got lit up on? I don't know. Nico tore up that defense. Right now, it's Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace currently the mostly out there. Joey Porter's actually been pretty solid, but he's the third cornerback.
There's a wild stat I saw. I wish I saved it. If I knew you were talking Zay, I would have brought it up. But the number one wide receiver against Pittsburgh's averaging like 25 fantasy points per game. It's something insane like that.
Yeah, so he's probably going to be a chalky play then, which I think I expected anyways. DeAndre Hopkins, kind of like how you said, I have him going against this Indianapolis secondary. My defense, Tennessee Titans, not excited about that. There's sometimes where I'm like, I really need to have this defense. I really wanted the Saints defense. I just didn't have the money. My running backs, Breece Hall and Joe Mixon, both guys we talked about actually quite a bit this episode. Joe Mixon should be heavily involved in Breece Hall. If we miss together, I guess, everyone, because I bet you he's going to be like a 75 to 80% play this week.
Yeah, so. Honestly, like, I'm going to pull back to mine real quick. I just want to see it. Sorry. I might switch Mixon to Breece. Take Olave, put him at Marquise, and then I'd have enough money to go get someone real big.
Yeah, I almost wonder if you could, and I don't want to say pull out Achane because he's just been so fire.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're more,
I could do that.
You're more like in love with Waddle this week, flip out Achane just to kind of look. Waddle and Achane can definitely go off. I don't want to tell you that it's not possible, and it's not. I mean, that it can happen. I know you know that, but it's scary. It's not.
It
He is that
It
guy.
is.
It's just scary to kind of have a wide receiver and running back and the same team in your lineup. You like typically, you don't. They could both absolutely succeed. You just try to avoid it if you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of things I need to think about. Again, that's my lineup based off of what I'm going to do with Olave. Because I think he is a very good play against that defense with Christian Gonzalez being out. But there's a lot of factors that might change my mind.
I feel it. Robbie, any last thoughts?
I don't think so. I think I'm ready for some football.
I'm ready for some football too, dude.
Hold on.
For myself.
Go ahead.
Banned from YouTube. So thank you for that. For myself, for Robbie Bobby, we will be back Sunday morning. I think I'm with Norton. Maybe not you. I don't know who's out there.
Supposed to be me. Supposed to be me, but I'll see if Nort can do it because I got that wedding.
Okay. We'll be back Sunday morning at noon talking start sits. If you have any last minute questions, come join us. We love you guys. Peace out. Thank you for watching our episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
If you aren't already following us on Twitter, check us out at DadBodFS.
We'll be posting all of our best clips and videos to all of our social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You can find us on there at DadBod Fantasy Squad.
Lastly, if you'd rather just listen, we make sure we post our audio of each episode on all the major streaming platforms. Stick with us all season long so together we can count our trophies and not our calories.